Well, hello, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Stephen. So, this week's blog entry has to do with a piece of legislation just recently crafted by the California legislature called AB 785. And it's an interesting piece of legislation. It essentially says that if you have been convicted of a misdemeanor involving a hate crime, and we'll talk about the definition of a hate crime here in a second, then you are prohibited from owning or possessing firearms for a statutorily minimum time frame of 10 years. Okay? Now, this is interesting because they're using a misdemeanor conviction in order to remove what is now considered to be a fundamental right enshrined by the Constitution. And the greater thing is to look at what, in fact, is a hate crime offense. Now, this becomes a little bit problematic. You see, the Constitution was crafted to prevent state encroachment on an individual's rights. It really was silent when it came to the concept of individuals encroaching on other individuals' rights. The idea behind our framers was that having a state or any sort of tyrannical government that could infringe upon individual liberties was contrary to our very fundamental nature as a nation. But it also understood that as long as the playing ground was essentially level, individuals were allowed to associate and, quite candidly, have their own prejudices and antisocial mentality that they wanted. Pursuit of happiness is a broad category as articulated in the Declaration of Independence. If you're an inherent racist, then by giving up your racism, by definition, you are foregoing your happiness. It's creepy, but I mean, that's the reality of it, okay? Individuals cannot be compelled to think. Now, the thought is that if you're trying to prevent somebody from exercising a civil right because of their class, when I mean class, I'm talking about race, religion, national origin, gender. If you're trying to prevent them from exercising a civil right because of their class, then you're guilty of committing a hate crime, a misdemeanor hate crime. Depending upon the nature of the offense, it could theoretically be a felony. The issue here is that you as a person can't theoretically be prohibiting another individual from exercising a civil right. That might have all sorts of crimes associated with it. It could be a tortious offense or something like that, but it's not a civil rights violation. The federal government or the state government can enact a civil rights violation. In any event, take a look at the blog. It's a little bit academic this week, I'm not going to lie to you, but take a look at the blog, understand the philosophy from which we're coming from, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. As always, train constantly, train consistently, train with purpose, and stay vigilant out there. Thank you again for watching my video blog here, and I hope you enjoy the blog. If you have any questions or you'd like to comment on it, as always, feel free to reach me at stephen@artemishq.com. Thank you very much. Stay safe.